So, you're suspicious of your moral leaders. Maybe you believe that the community you're a part of has taken the wrong direction. But your beliefs still stand. Unlike the normal rebel with a cause, you still believe your institution should exist though. The first part of what I just described is a pretty common in fiction. However, the rebel with a cause usually takes the form of a revolutionary. But what of the reformist? They usually come off as weak in fiction, and in reality for that matter. In a world where the most extreme of us are also the most vocal, the people who want to change aspects rather than foundations are seen as status quo cheerleaders. On the other hand, they may still be seen as far too extreme for the Overton window in other cases. This leads me to one of the most underused character types in fiction. Much like the wise king, the reformist has been phased out of adult genres in favor for the hero who completely neutralizes an opposing group. If it's not a person, it can't perform a face turn. Of course that's not true in real life though. Governments develop new policies, regimes fall, and even big bad corporations can drastically change their tone. So I thought it over. Is there any work in which characters try to restore the dignity or repair the evils within their in-group? While the pickings are slim, I think I found an example in a work not particularly known for its creative use of tropes. Toji no Miko is Girls with Swords. To absorb anything of any moral depth would be like absorbing a therapy session from anger management, right? Well, not exactly. It really doesn't have the same great lessons like a Darling in the Franxx does, nor does it have any of the anybody can enjoy kind of feel that something like a Yona the Dawn had. However, two characters that come with their own stereotypes remind me of one certain widespread traditionalist movement. Hiyori starts her journey by attempting to assassinate an Aradama-possessed leader of the religious military unit known as Toji, the sword-brandishing shrine maidens. She's pursued by everyone, including members of a shadow organization called Mokusa. Contrary to what we are originally led to believe, Mokusa is actually trying to help the would-be assassin, because they are a sect within the religious military unit that knew the truth about its false leader.
お二人はモクサのテストに合格しました。
モクサ？
日本刀源流の地と言われるあの木佐のことか。
折紙ゆかり率いる変革派に抗い、お刀とトジのあるべき姿を取り戻すための組織としてはナイスなネーミングでしょ。
The Toji of Mokusa, Kaoru and Ellen, fight alongside the main characters to expel the Aradama ruling over the throne. After being introduced to these characters, my first thought was the Sedevacantists of the Catholic Church, and in the true spirit of Sedevacantism, it's time for a conspiracy web. Point 1. Sedevacantists are a traditionalist take on Catholicism that believes the Pope isn't really the Pope, and that there hasn't truly been a Pope since Pius XII in 1958. Unlike Mokusa and Toji no Miko, they believe any demonic ties to the current papacy are less explicit than an Aradama possessing the Pope. Most Sedevacantists are highly traditionalist and don't advocate Masses to be spoken in non-Latin, or extraordinary ministers of Holy Communion. In less Catholic speak, they're kinda prudish. Making the strand over to Mokusa, the namesake refers to a school of swordsmithing that saw its prime in the 11th century. However, the term itself can also refer to the ancient Buddhist ascetic practice of moxibustion, which is special burning of incense on one's own body. While moxibustion is not practiced by Sedevacantists, many traditionalist Catholics value ascetic concepts like mortification of the body. Think that Opus Dei whipping scene in Da Vinci Code, except not sensationalist garbage. While I find the asceticism connection humorous, the portrayal of a religious order working towards reform is interesting. Though I'm not a Sedevacantist myself, it's clear that the Catholic Church could use a kick in the pants in regards to various sexual scandals that have plagued the past decades throughout the world. There has always been corruption in the Catholic Church, but now the issue of sexual abuse has exploded for the second time since the original Boston abuse scandal of the early 2000s. I think we're all getting sick of the disgusting acts of individuals like Archbishop McCarrick. Regardless of that, all of us, whether Catholic, Protestant, or whatever, need to know how to filter our rage. Clergies and churches throughout the world have failed us, but a strong lady cannot be shaken. Unlike industries like Hollywood or politics, our churches have a legion of involved laity that make up the communities themselves and have every right to be nosy. We as individuals are not part of a quote-unquote molestation club that more ardent atheists tend to espouse in the hopes of dissolving more conservative Christian ideas. With cover-up accusations being lobbed at Pope Francis himself, as well as other notable leaders by Archbishop Vigano, it's crucial to keep an ear towards the critical voices within the church, as Pope Francis is often seen as somewhat Teflon by a media that still sees him as a pseudo-reformer. While Vigano's claims are yet unsupported, it is important to note the media's hypocritical dismissal of the claims despite their blindly trusting attitudes towards many other accusations of sexual abuse. Responses like those of Cardinal Blaise Cupich are also downright unnerving in their callousness. Ultimately, the type of reform we are looking for is not on matters of the environment or social justice issues. I had originally planned to cover the idea of a reform group more generically, but the subject at hand seemed too pertinent to ignore. When linking back to anime, there really isn't anything that can quite convey the seriousness of the subject. While Toji no Miko had its moments, like the Field of Dreams type scenes between Kanami and her mother, it had significant flaws and lacked the jarring kick that other anime has. The cute girls doing cute things premise of the show probably makes it a poor example for a religious reform lesson to begin with. Nevertheless, I took something out of it that I find rare. And it was sweet how the show took itself seriously, but still tied everything up in a nice little bow at the end. That is why I find the show curious, but not exactly shaking any worldviews. Ultimately, unmasking evil within our churches will require open eyes to see, ears to hear, and especially mouths to speak, unlike the princesses of Toji no Miko.